methadone line and there was Suboxone. And they would push the girls back on the stuff, even though they had been clean for a period of time.
Why though?
I think what their logic was is that they're going to get out. They're going to get back on the streets and live like a life. That their logic is so they don't go out and get high. Like they're on something like methadone. You can come home, you can do methadone or you can do Suboxone. But again, it's all paid for. It's all.
Wait, Suboxone. I'm like so sorry. I thought that was like an elderly.
No, Suboxone's an opiate blocker. Yeah.
Okay.
So we did. We had that line to where that they would go for methadone or they would go for Suboxone.
You didn't have to do any of that.
I took medication for I'm diabetic, which I found out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was it a rough crowd? Was it rough girls? Was it like at night you had to watch yourself?
So you're in a closed cell. You're in a max security facility. So you're in a door. You got to be right there. I feel like the level of violence is way different. It's not like what you think. And it's just you and your bunkie in the cell.
Just you and her. And she's got this beautiful area.
That's what I
was going to ask if it was still Yaya.
Yep, still Yaya. It's Yaya for about 9 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
all right.
So just keep this in mind.
Now, how old's Yaya?
I want to say she's probably in her 50s, late 50s.
Okay.
Right? So you have to go to the bathroom. You need to use the bathroom in the cell. You guys know this, right? There's a toilet in there.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing to get used to.
Does she watch you?
No. We get each other. No, she sits in the front like, hi.
It's the La La Yaya show.
Well, do you want to, you don't want to use your
home.
Who wants to do that? Like, I mean, it was different with my dad or my mom. Like,
oh,
we'd all be in the bathroom hanging out together. Probably.
Can you imagine too if you make noise, like if you have gas?
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
It like echoes. I would be screwed in there.
Or how about this? Now, mind you, it's female male officers in there. They do tours, and here you are sitting on the toilet and right there too. And if it's nighttime, you get the big flashlight and the.
This would be me like this in it. Hello.
And you just act like you're not going. You turn around and they can't see me. But they're not. It's not like they're like normally they don't stare like in the. They just kind of flash the light. It's kind of like a drive-by.
Yeah.
They just try to see some.
Did I just say? I would never be your roommate.
I'm just thinking,
be the shoes. So your roommate.
To be able to just have a toilet in my.
They would go by 16 times in one night, and they'd be like, as they walked by, they'd see your head again. That's all they see on the toilet again. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
this struggle's real.
It's true though. You get normal showers though. The showers are outside of the cells. So let me just explain to you like what my showers look like on that. Cause I was on that tier for a long time. So you go down the end of the hall. First of all, there's 12. There's 12 rooms. Is it 12 rooms? Yes, 12 rooms. 2 to each room.
Okay.
You go down right before you get to the last cell. There's showers across from each other. One of the showers you walk in, it's got a little open space, and then it's like a white tub shower. Who's taking a bath there? Nobody. You got a shower curtain.
Ew,
shower.
I would, yeah.
No, you can't. They would. You wouldn't want to. I promise you. And then to the right is an open square shower where the shower head comes off the wall. It's all like painted brick, open. You have a chair there to put your stuff on. Oh, no.
I would not do that.
No, it's not a fun place to be.
Holy shit. I can't believe this. I'm like in shock right now.
I don't even know what to say.
So you're living your life. Let me ask you this.
I'm living my prison life. Okay.
You're living your best prison life.
It doesn't get that good yet, but trust me when I tell you, I'm going to tell you I was living my best prison life.
Lala and Yaya. Now,
Lala and Yaya.
Now that you guys are sharing, is this a situation where like you guys are together now that you're sharing a space? Yeah. Do you become romantically? Okay.
I did not become gay for this day.
Okay.
Well, we'll talk about that too.
Okay. Well, everybody was going to ask.
Yeah. I know that. And I will touch on it. I will touch on it.
I was going to say, like, I'm like, oh my God.
Well, can you keep up, please?
I'm trying to
grab your What did you say to her? Grab your boobs?
Yeah, your tits and let's go.
Yes. Perfect. Yeah, so I was with her for like 8 months. We're in the cell together. I mean, I'm getting commissary now because my family, brother and his wife, made sure I had money on my books every week. And, it's not like I was like rich in there, but I was comfortable. I got to order new sneakers. I don't want to order these damn skippies. TV comes into play. TV, Kate. Okay, you ready for this? It's TV this big.
Yeah.
It's got no sound because you got to have headphones to listen to it.
Do you have headphones?
Of course I do.
Of course.
Of course. But again, it's a lot of money.
Right.
254, I think it was like $254 for a TV.
Cable.
It's very basic cable.
Fine. Channel 3?
PBS, that's what I cared about. PBS. I love PBS.
Okay.
Channel 3, yes. So I'll like a lot of the local stations. But again, you're in Norwich, or Niantic, so you have the local that's down there.
Were you ever on the TV?
I never seen myself on TV.
Okay.
I didn't see myself, but I'm sure I was. I'm almost guaranteed I was. But yes. But again, you have to be settled in. You have to have you don't want to just order TV if you don't know what's going on. I actually waited until after I was sentenced to order a TV.
Because you knew you were going to be there for a while?
Right. Once I was sentenced and I knew how long I was going to be there, I'm like, all right, let's start.
We got to talk about sentencing day.
Yes. Well, we're not going to talk about sentencing day. Not yet. Are we? Yeah, I guess. Like I said, I was there for a year and a half.
You were there for a year and a half.
Before sentenced.
So then leading up to it, when do you find out that it's time to figure out what your sentence is?
I wasn't even there for a year and a half before I got sentenced. Let me see. It wasn't at my last sentence date. Because,
Yeah.
all right. So it's August 16th I go in. So we come up to like the next summer. I don't think I was still in the same. I had a job,
Okay.
laundry job. I did
Okay.
laundry for
You were
7
doing laundry.
months, yeah.
Great.
Kind of just living this
Oh,
whatever.
that's smart.
Wasn't big on the chow. The chow stuff. Like,
Okay.
not into it at all. They fed us back a lot though. Like trays will come to the unit. They feed the unit. Very easy, very simple. Go to court dates. Court dates are like I said, either every couple months. So we're at August. So we go all the way until I guess we'll touch base now on the Wally thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So you're in jail.
I'm in jail. And Paulie he struggled on the outside.
Is your daughter still communicating with Polly at this
But
time?
she's keeping her distance because she knows that he's in rough shape. On and off. I didn't talk to him much when I was in there. It was very limited.
Why was that?
He was running amok, like way worse than I had ever done.
Drugs took a hold.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'd hear bits and pieces, from what Hallie knew or didn't know. I heard most of it when I came home, but it puts it all together at the end.
That had to have been really hard from going from you guys basically being like, and I hate this reference, but Bonnie and Clyde together to now being in there and you guys being inseparable to now you guys are hardly talking.
Hardly talking.
Did you feel that void when you were in there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I felt like I was ride or die when you were there. Like that's when we first started talking was when you were in prison. Like, we spent all this time together and here I am. Yeah.
Were you angry at him? And was the reason why you didn't reach out to him maybe more was because you thought to yourself, well, what the fuck? I'm in here and you're out there.
Angry, but I did try to reach out, but it was more like he was just getting high. It was his last concern was answering a call from me. And when we would talk, I was not very pleasant at all because
you had a lot to say.
Absolutely.
Hey, not for nothing. You're out there. I'm in here and you can't
Keep it together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think anybody would say that was like reasonable. Well, whether they do or don't, we don't care.
Right, yeah.
It's reasonable to feel that way.
So I guess we're going to bring it up to it's my birthday's coming up. I'm in there. It's June. My birthday's June 9th.
Okay.
And I did talk to, everybody every single day. I didn't talk to Allie every day. It'd be like, once or twice a week. No, I mean, it's, what am I going to report? That we had chow this morning. It was just the same thing over and over and over. I called home and it was June 7th, 2 days before my birthday. And that's where I found out Paulie had taken his own life that morning, which was very difficult to deal with in prison, let alone knowing that he took his own life. I think that addiction got the best of him. I think his guilt for what happened to me got the best of him. It was a lot. It was a lot to try to comfort my daughter going through that because she looked at Paulie as like a father. He was a father figure.
How did you get the call? Who called?
I called Ellie. Just on an 11, I'm like, hey, just checking in.
Any other normal day?
For your
Just,
birthday?
yeah, 2 days. It was June 7th.
When you called her, was she emotional?
She's like, Mom, I need to tell you something.
Oh no.
And it was hard. And I just remember the 2 payphones are right against this big glass thing that looks up into the unit where the officer sits and stuff. And I just remember looking up, and it's almost like I felt like I knew what she was about to say. Like I was scared. And she told me, and I literally felt weak, my whole body, my legs, everything. And I was just like, and I remember screaming. And I remember like just kind of like losing it a little bit. And one thing that they are is your mental health. So what happened was they brought me upstairs, after the phone call. And that counselor that I told you was absolutely amazing. She brought me into her office, and they call it crisis, which is a crisis nurse who will come in to make sure you're not suicidal, you're handling this kind of news. Okay. Like it's devastating news. You lose family members in there, So they came to talk to me there, which was okay. I think I felt better that I was in there with a counselor because she treated me so well. And it was kind of like a sense of comfort.
Yeah.
Crazy part about this is my other inmates that were with me down there, they had planned a birthday for me. And my birthday was going to be June 9th. They planned we made some prison cake, and it was going to be like this big thing. So now here I am with this devastating news, and lo and behold, we're about to go into a 5-day lock. 5-day lock is where the prison is. So most of them are things that happen that aren't supposed to happen, so they have to lock the facility down. Whether there's a death on the compound, something gets lost, an officer loses his keys, something like that, they're going to shake down every building. It takes them 5 days. We go into a 5-day lock. And I don't remember if it was a mandatory 5-day lock.
Does this mean isolation?
It is.
And that's probably the last thing that you needed right at that moment.
Absolutely did not, because this is it. I have to sit in this cell
And think about what just happened.
Yep.
That's
Instead of going to work or talking to the people there and trying to keep your mind up.
I have Yaya, but she's at work most of the day, because she works in the kitchen. So that kitchen still has to work. So
it's like being home by yourself all day long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was definitely a lot to take in. I think one thing is losing someone in prison it's like you don't process it. I didn't process Paulie's death until I came home. When everyone else had already started healing, yes.
You mean when you came home from prison,
yeah.
Is when you healed from...
Correct. Because you have no closure. You can't, we weren't legally married, so there's no service. Can't go to a service, And I think everyone else has the process to have dealt with it, started to heal from it. But here I am fresh and new. In prison, time freezes. So everything that you remember from when you were out,
it's exactly
you hold on to those memories.
So if you guys were married and there was a service?
Most likely I probably would have been able to go, yes. But the counselor did check, she made phone calls to see if she could help in any way, but it didn't happen. At that time, there was an officer in the unit it was our 5-day officer, which normally they don't have because they rotate officers. Because you don't want to build relationships. I'm not supposed to be kind to, that's not the case. It does happen. You start to get to know someone anyways. This officer is the one that got me the laundry job, treated me very well. He was our 5-day. Once we got off the 5-day lock, so my hardest thing was leaving the building. I don't know what it was. I didn't want to go to chow. I didn't want to go to medical. So he started having chow brought to the unit for me. So I didn't have to, I think that was the hardest for me was to go out and deal with people,
And he saw that.
He did. The counselor actually called him at home on his day off to let him know that I had lost Paulie and that to keep an eye on me. As soon as he came in that morning, he buzzed my room and he checked up and he said, he had me come up to the common area and, are you okay? It was I'm thankful. But this is where my prison life starts to become a little more uncomfortable because I start seeing officers they're human. They didn't put me there. I put myself there. And the only difference between them and myself is a uniform. That's it. Right. They're not police officers. They're correctional officers.
Right.
They work for the state of Connecticut. I didn't have any issues with any officers, but this is where it started, was kind of the rapport I started with him showed me that I think I know how I'm going to do the rest of this bit. And it was going to be, I'm going to show respect. I'm going to work, and I'm not going to be a shitbag and walk around and hold myself like a disrespectful idiot. Because people get real, we use the word ratchet. Is that okay?
Yeah.
'Cause it's,
Oh, you can swear here.
it's real. Like some of these girls are just in raw form, like awful.
Like they just don't give a fuck.
No. I remember one Easter morning, we were on lockdown, and the girl had came from Seattle. So she was being let out for her morning time, because you're outside, you get certain time when you come back to the unit. And I remember the officer, I'm not going to say his name, telling her to lock up, and she's like, suck my and I was like, whoa. I'm like, did you really just say that? I'm like, it's Easter morning. Not that it matters. We're in prison. But you just told the officer, it's like just raw. Just raw. It's awful.
But I think
I just beeped out my own self on that one.
You did. You do better than I do.
Now, okay. Now, what is SEG?
SEG is a segregating housing unit for a fight. You fight, you're going to SEG.
Did you ever fight?
No, not once. Came pretty damn close. Now, I always would pick the biggest bitch to fucking argue with. But no, I never fought.
You never fought?
Bertha or something.
Girl, why you leave this one without my...
There are some Berthas. There are.
That's what I think of. Like,
you know what, truly, it's not like you ever... What?
I've seen some really good fights, though. I've seen a few.
Scary?
Not scary. No. Kind of like
cat fights.
Yeah. So one of these fights, this girl, she was a bad bitch. I've also seen some pretty crazy, like, girls fighting and officers breaking it up, like officers getting hit, or it's crazy. But that's SEG. And what happens with SEG, depending on your charge per se of what you did, is how long you're going to spend in that unit. And you get nothing. You're in a cell. You're in a dark ass unit. You get a cell. You get no books. You get no commissary. You get nothing except for your food. You get a shower twice a week where you're cuffed. It's no joke.
No.
It's no joke. And I think that's why I didn't fight too. I'm going to be honest. I'm starting to establish commissary. I'm starting to establish, a little bit of freedom from the officers.
You're comfortable at this point.
And what's crazy to say is that you're comfortable in prison.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's true. I found a level of how I was going to do my time and my comfort level. And I didn't want to lose it. I didn't want to lose phone calls. I didn't want to lose, because, sometimes if you were an asshole and the officers had to pack your shit up, it was getting chucked down and put upstairs. So if your TV got broken, you're bad. You want to act like an asshole, they're going to act like an asshole the same way. It sucks. That's the last thing they want to do is, I hate to say this, but they don't want to work extra.
Right. Right.
And when you're fighting and doing stupid shit, or you're caught with contraband like hooch or Pruno, you're going to say, you'd be going to job if you had Pruno on your own.
I don't want Pruno after you explain that you see this stuff.
Yeah, so
ignorance is bliss. Just don't tell me what's in it.
So from my laundry job, I then became a common area worker, which is one of the best jobs to have. You run the whole unit. You run chemicals.
You're respected now.
I'm getting respect. I'm getting respect from the officers because I'm cleaning their bathroom. I'm getting them what
they appreciate it.
They appreciate it, and I'm not like acting like a complete asshole. So we used to get fed back, and this always bothered me. And there was usually there'd be like a unit that didn't have much. They'd stick all the girls together. Like the girls didn't get a lot. And I'd always be like, ask the officer, it'll be breakfast time. If there's extra trays, let's give them out.
Right.
Girls, understand if we give these out and we can't do it one day, don't get upset. It was, thank you so much. You're the best. Thank you. And as soon as you couldn't do it, you're a fat fucking bitch. I can't fucking stand you. They were awful. They would get so mad.
Even after you just told them not to get mad that you can't do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's like a housing unit full of children. So, common area worker, best job. Loved it. Most of the time I saw...
Still 74 cents a day?
75 cents a day.
75, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So... But again, I was establishing a little bit kind of a rapport with the officers. I would clean the captain and counselor's office. I don't know if I should say this is a funny story. Counselor was amazing. Again, captain's in there like up across from him. And he's like this kind of like stocky guy, and you just respect the captain in a unit. Captain has control. That's his unit.
Right.
So I'm in there and I'm cleaning, taking out the trash, and I hear Whitney Houston. I don't remember what song it was. I really do. And all of a sudden, I hear this captain singing Whitney Houston at the top of his lungs. And but it probably totally was. But that's like, it's moments like that you realize that
They're human.
they're human. They're human. They're not the enemy.
No.
You know, I could hate holding on to hatred and like animosity towards people it's not good. It's not good. But this is where I started to learn a little bit about myself.
But it also seems like, and not to cut you off, Shabba, but you come from good roots.
Not the best roots, I mean, but good. Yeah, like
yeah. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Some people a little rough, have rougher starts and whatnot. So we'll keep it generic.
Roots, yes.
Decent roots.
Yes.
The best roots that were possible.
Yes. That's what I would give them.
What are the age ranges of the people that were in your unit?
So, with being an only female prison, the girls that would come in that were under the age of 18 were kept in what we would call apartments. There weren't too many. I think at the most that I had there, while I was there in the apartments, was like maybe 2 or 3. You're kept. It's not an apartment like what you would think. It's just like a different kind of housing unit, and they have to have an officer with them at all times. They have their own private officer that have to escort them around the compound.
So they would be around you guys, but with their own.
Correct. And then when they turn 18, they're allowed to live in the same unit as you, like the older people. But you had ages from 18 to, I mean, I think the oldest, she was probably in her 70s, 70s. That was there.
I don't know if we said this, but when you figured out how long, when you got sentenced.
So we can get to the sentencing. So I go to court, get offered the same thing all the way up. On the last court date, I was offered the years with 3 special parole.
Now you're comfortable at this point.
I'm comfortable. Yeah, I'm comfortable, but
does things change when you hear the sentence?
Absolutely.
Are you saying to yourself now, wait a second, I was freaking comfortable here for a little bit, but were you surprised?
It was a big number.
Way more than you thought.
I was hoping, this is weird, but I was hoping kind of like 8 years, maybe a little bit, something better than 10 years. I thought 10 years was pretty harsh. Seeing as there was other things going on in the court, people were getting the same amount of time that I'd been in and out of prison. So yeah, I think it was a little harsh. Not that. And then putting the 3 special parole on top of it.
Right.
I can recall that night that I came back. It's the same process. You go to court, you come back on the bus. I remember the same officer that was actually in the unit. He was working double that night. He was on the walkway. And I remember leaving. They send you to crisis when you come back, especially with a sentence like that.
That's a big sentence.
Big sentence to them. So
you must have come back deflated.
Literally exhausted, mentally, emotionally, physically exhausted. You go see crisis, make sure you're not suicidal anyway. You're going to hurt yourself or anybody else.
And you're still not now you're like, you're now.
I get on the compound, go up back to my unit. It's like almost 10 o'clock at night. And Officer Griffin is there working a double. I just said his name. Doesn't matter at this point. And Kim, how did it go? Because you're not called by your first name. You're called by your last name. And I just remember just like breaking down, like literally just, this is it. Let me settle the fuck in because I'm about to be sitting here for a long time. And like at that point in your life, you just want to hug,
Yeah.
They can't hug you. No way. No. It's more like, I'm sorry to hear the type, they're good people.
Right.
They're not horrible people. If you're not an asshole, I'm not saying my experience was not bad at prison. There are experiences that are horrible. People have horror stories. Trust me when I tell you. Mine, I don't have a horror story. I really don't. So I'm settling in.
You're settling in.
I am.
That's a hard feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot to deal with.
That's a lot to deal with.
Polly,
your daughter processing this.
Now, how old's your daughter when you get the sentence?
She's, I think, 20, 21 at this time.
She's probably
living on her own.
Yeah.
Kind of building a life for herself.
Did you do the math in your head when you got the sentence of let's like, she's 21 plus 10 years. She will be 31 when I get out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think any
parent would do that.
She's going to kill me for saying this, but what I really wanted, you have a girl. Is she going to get married while I'm in there?
Right.
Like, am I going to be able to see that?
Right.
She did get married when I was in there, but it was okay. It was okay because I knew that's what
she wanted.
It's what she wanted. Her life didn't have to change because I messed up.
It almost took the burden off you.
And I wanted her to be happy,
That's great.
And they would come and visit. Like, I'd get visits from my mom, and I'd get visits from my brother and Allie, and her significant other. Visits were the best. They sucked because you get your bending cough afterward, but just having the loved one there.
Every time,
girl. Every time there's a shakedown too. When we get those 5-day louts, we get the bending cough.
Shabba.
It'd be a wrap for me. I'd be farting all the time. Like every time.
And sometimes they'll be like, if you're not far enough down, further down, bend over further.
I do that.
Did they at least use lube or something like that?
Well, they don't. I mean, first of all, Larry, they don't put anything in you, honey. What do you need lube for? I like where your mind went, though.
I was thinking about
they're not getting anything inside of you. They're hoping.
I don't know what I thought, but I just assumed that you were getting.
No, they don't put their finger in your butt.
So you're not getting.
No, I love that she asked that. That was great. That was classic. But at least that thought's out of your mind now. I mean, I guess they would have to use lube if you stuff something up there. Sometimes girls will get cell phones in there.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, cell phones. Not too often.
I can understand getting a cell phone. Like, if you have big boobs, like, you could have
your boobs are getting.
Oh, they're like searching. Like, they're looking them too. So
you go in. You're in front of an officer. You're butt naked. You get butt naked.
Where's that cell phone going?
In her prison pocket. That's a prison pocket. Oh, it's a prison pocket.
Oh, so then when you call and you bend over,
they can see it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that means they gotta really stick it up there quite far.
Yeah. Yes. Same with drugs.
How do you get a cell phone in there, bro? There's cell phones in there, so obviously.
Look at the size of the cell phone. Look at the size of the cell phone.
Like, the amount of time it takes. Like, are we talking about like a flip phone and then
maybe one of the old school jukebox phones? Maybe like if you got a bigger.
You guys,
the Motorola flip phone. Like, and then how do they have that amount of time to get that in there? Because it's not like you could just shove it up there. You know what I mean?
Even if it was a razor, you guys, the fin ain't gonna matter. Because that's big.
So they probably use lube cake to put it in there. But no, you don't see it too often, but it does happen. Drugs, same thing. Up in the hoo-ha, the prison pocket.
Prison pocket. Damn. You learn something every day. Wow. A cell phone. Okay.
So, where are we at? We're sentenced 10 years.
Yes. You're pause for a moment because I do have a question about sentencing. So you were sentenced for 10 years and then you said 3, what was that?
A special parole.
What does that mean?
All right. So when you're sentenced, if it's a nonviolent crime, you do 50% of your time. So I got sentenced to 10 years. I am going, as long as I do what I'm supposed to do. Like, you can't be getting tickets, acting reckless. You do 5 years. So I came out after, I actually got released a little before 5 years, but I didn't have one sanction, no tickets, no nothing the whole time I was there. Also, the program that we'll get to too is helped me part of that also. So I come home early. So I'm on parole. I'm coming up. I've been home almost 5 years coming to